They didn't call him dinosaur, they called him dragon. The word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841. It's a brand new word in the dictionary. I got some old dictionaries and looked for the word dinosaur. Even in 1891, the word was not in the dictionary. They called them dragons. The Bible mentions dragons 34 times. Even in the 1946 dictionary, listed as now rare. As the population of people began to grow after the flood, the population of dinosaurs began to go down. Because nobody wants to live next door to a dragon. How many grizzly bears are roaming loose in the woods right here in Bucks County? None, right? How many were there 400 years ago, you think? Probably a whole bunch of them. Gilgamesh is famous for slaying a dragon. A Chinese legend tells about a guy named Yu. It says after the Great Flood, they surveyed the land of China and divided it into sections. He built channels to drain the water off to the sea and make the land livable again. Many snakes and dragons were driven from the marshlands. This piece of pottery from Egypt shows two long-necked dinosaurs. Why would they put dragons and dinosaurs on different pieces of pottery that are found from ancient civilizations? What are these dragons? And the Bible talks about a fiery flying serpent. What is this? Herodotus in 400 BC reported the fiery flying serpents. You might want to read that story sometime. The fiery flying, anyway. In the book of Job, it talks about out of his mouth, Leviathan, go burning lamps and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils go a smoke. Alexander the Great reported dragons when he conquered part of India. Saddam spent a fortune rebuilding the ancient city of Babylon. On the ancient Babylonian walls, which they rebuilt, they found carvings of lions and dragons. This is from 600 BC. How would they know about dragons in 600 BC? Some were still alive, still lived with man. Why would they put dragons on the walls of the city, the Ishtar Gate in Babylon? It's over there right now if you want to go see.
Glory be to God. There's over 200 of these trees of life that literally touch the top of the firmament. They're not volcanoes. This isn't my first rodeo. They have a root system. They aren't trees that would look like that. These are on a whole nother level. And yes, there's a root system underneath the Devil's Tower. Tower, 2 wars, Magdala, woman of Magdala. So again, this is not my first rodeo. I don't want to hear how they took samples from the Devil's Tower. It's rock. Dude, it's called petrified. They got scarred, scared, turned into stone. It's not stone, it's petrified wood. Knock on wood, Hollywood, Woden's Day. It doesn't matter what culture. Like I said, there was over 200 trees. So this is where you get Christmas. This is where they're cutting down the trees of life from. Abracadabra, the 3 Abrahamic religions. This is what I say is ice. It's the top of the pyramid. They had pyramids, which came after these because they needed these. 30% more oxygen. Ox, it's bull, genesis. Created genetics, what a gene is. Genies. So, all around the world. There's one place in particular called Serra Altana. It's very interesting. But nevertheless, we're going to go over some more pictures. The movie Up, this is where they did Angel Falls, Paradise Falls. It's from a real place. It's laser harnessed sun energy beyond your guys' depths of comprehension. This has nothing to do about a big axe. These are giants, the jinn. So let's take a couple more ganders and then we'll get into it. Okay. Flat all the way around. It's not like a big mountain or a big rock. Like I've heard so many theories. They're funny to me. And you guys might think, well, this is just a theory too. Look, it's whatever. This isn't my first rodeo. I must have said that 3 times by now because it isn't. And I've heard so many theories. I don't argue with people who live in a firmament to become firmer men. It's a firmer mind, a firmament. I know these words. I know where we come from. Don't be dumb. Don't be dome. A dome. Okay? It's Ganesha. This is Genesis. Okay? 6 protons, neutrons, electrons. So, root systems all around because they were trees of life. They're giants, physical giants that got petrified and physically cut down. This is physical, father sickle, whether sick or ill. Okay? Grim Reaper, you reap what you sow. It's Graham Reaper, has a scythe, a Seth, it's god of chaos in Egypt. Santa, Satan Claus, referring to the claustrum. This is ho, ho, ho. They're pharmacist tools, harm or assist you, from pharmakeia, heal or hell. So the trees kept you in full alkalinity, in alignment, elach, in mint mind. Glory be to God. Over 200 plus trees of life got cut down, as you can see here, all across the world with the root system. Yes, it's already been proved in the Devil's Tower, although people will always deny it. Perhaps it's hard for people to fathom the reality. Not so much for me, because I understand. They are petrified. They got scarred, scared, turned into stone. As you can see, couple more pictures. Sederatana in the Amazon is the tree of life. So knock, Nike on wood. That's holly, holy wood. That's a Woden this day. Adonai, Odonai. 6 is 9 and 9 is 6. Right degree angle. Right hand angel to God. Lucifer. Let there be light. Let there be life. Referring to female anatomy. It's feminine. Feminine. Inanna. Inina. The Garden of Eden is dragon of Aten. Yggdrasil is lizard's egg. 5 and 5. That's Aten. Jacob's ladder. Called the place Peniel. For you have seen God face to face. Had a relation. Not a religion. That's 33 levels of vertebrae. Yeshua died at the age of 33. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 is 9 and 9 is 6. Don't be dumb, don't be dome. It's carbanatum. Now then shall we labor at the trees. The book of Enoch, 666. It's Nike. Hercules is Herluces. The 12 labors. 2 6s is 12. It's 666. Labor at the trees. We are working for the king. Working. We are warshipping. Going to war for the ship. It's maritime. Anunnaki, Nike, Nagi is the snake. 2 pillars, polars. They pill ya, they pull ya. It's a tree of life, 2 sides, Isis. Anki is Enki, is got turned into Nike, victory. Enlil is Lillians, enlightenment. They got the anointed ones, they created Anu, once every year. Yeshua, they cut down a tree of life. Miss Chris, 2 Kundalini serpents. What I say is Isis, Jesus Christ, Isis rise, top of the pyramid. Abracadabra, the 3 Abrahamic religions. Hence Christmas. Your heart chakra is Leo, Helios, Soul, Sun. Your Shatakana, your 666. Bullseyes, and eyes, Isis. Sunner, sinner, center. Oil, the oil that makes you Christian. Daniel, it's the tribe of Dan. Trees of life. Easy kill. Sederatana, to the Red Book, Carl Jung. Don't be lax, don't relax. Truth in plain sight, it's Lucifer's axe. Valley of Dreams, it's Madre. The Origins, Orions, our rings. Paul Bunyan in the Blue Ox. Avatar is Erevat. It's A. Pocahontas, Sycamore, because you're sick without the trees of life. Tomahawk, Giant.
Huge mistake in the relationship between humans and these other civilizations. And here I want to put a button on this. When we detonated the first atomic bomb and the subsequent ones, when those go off, everybody knows what an electromagnetic pulse is. What they don't know is that there's an attending so-called scalar or longitudinal wave that is faster than the speed of light that disrupts the fabric and communication and propulsion guidance systems of extraterrestrial vehicles. This is why they came in huge force in the 40s and 50s. And this is why every single atomic and nuclear weapon storage facility, processing plant and base and ship has been surveilled by these ET vehicles. Because when those things are used, it's like tearing the fabric of space-time. The military has completely misunderstood what the concern from these civilizations are, and they've looked at it purely as a threat, when in reality, we're the threat.
Okay, so we saw gunfire, it's dark. We hear the tribal leader talking about this. What was he saying, and what were we seeing in these first few seconds of this news report?
This incident began when a 15-year-old girl was abducted by strange beings in the jungle. She was able to break free from her captors. She ran back to the village. She sustained lacerations to her neck, and when the villagers found her, she was in a state of shock, absolutely terrorized. They assumed that whoever had attempted to abduct her were humans, and so they grabbed their guns and they started running through the jungle looking for these individuals. And instead of finding human beings, what they encountered were these strange entities, which the villagers themselves are calling extraterrestrials. And they've been terrorized not just one day, but ongoing for weeks. And this has been happening primarily at nighttime.
Allowing residents to walk through? Can someone walk up to those umbrellas and open them? Here's why. This is a Simpson episode when the laser burnt down their town. And in the middle of a town is a blue-wrapped statue. I haven't seen the entire episode, but apparently in the beginning, that's where the laser was coming from. The blue tarp apparently stopped it. Maybe it's not coming from the sky. Can someone go there? Check it out safely? Take a peek under those blue umbrellas. Are they still there?
This book here, it's called It's Perfectly Normal. I'll read some of this for you. It says, after a bit, a person's becomes moist and slippery, and the clitoris becomes hard. After a bit, a person's becomes erect, stiff, and larger. Sometimes a bit of clear fluid that may contain a few sperm comes out of the tip of the and makes it wet.
Can we, sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system? We have perverts that are perverting our kids. And you all sit back smug in your chairs, but you don't want me to read it. Why? Does it bother you? Yes or no? You can't answer that question. You want to know why? Because politically speaking, you can't say that it's wrong. And you don't want me to read the filth because it exposes the truth. How dare you tell me to stop reading it? If you don't want to hear it, why should the children have to see it?
Pastor, your time is up. Thank you.
That makes two of us.
You heard the theory that the Trumps are time travelers?
Grab me a DeLorean.
This connects to Nikola Tesla.
No way.
Nikola Tesla died, and within his hotel that he had 80 plus trunks of all his patents, his designs for different technologies, all this stuff. Guess who they sent first to go and collect the stuff?
I don't know.
John G. Trump. Donald Trump's uncle.
What?
Weird.
So the theory is that he took some of these trunks.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But Tesla said that he had figured out how to bend time. So
As one does.
the theory is Donald Trump's uncle took this, created a time machine.
Oh my gosh.
And then the weird connection is there was a book that came out in 1896, and it's called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey.
You're saying
Do you know
it
what,
was actually
do you-
Baron
Do you
Trump?
know what the book was about?
What?
Time travel?
Baron Trump time traveling.
No!
December 23rd, 2020, to something strange was caught on the west coast of Scotland. The person filming heard strange noises coming from outside near the lighthouse, and he caught something big. Some say it was a sea monster.
They used lighthouses before
erected a massive concave
to do the
reflective
same
surface.
thing.
It will focus the sun's beam in a deadly ray.
A lighthouse. There you go. Watch out for the blue tree.
Hey!
Why is that tree wrapped in blue?
I'd like to thank the good people at Tianjin
Why?
Smelting and Mining and Donuts and Tops for neutralizing our wonderful, deadly new lard lead. Yeah, that's great. They'll grow back. The time for mourning and blaming our mayors has passed. We will
What's that blue
rebuild.
thing?
We will.
My guy. So for one, everything about NASA is just a complete lie. NASA only exists because atheists need a religion too. They need something that's gonna disprove God's word. So when God say that the earth stands still, NASA tells y'all that it's moving over 1,000 miles per hour. God tells us that the sun and the moon rotates. So NASA comes out and says that the earth is rotating, not the sun and the moon. There's been a lot of stuff that has been leaked, people that have spoke out about NASA being fake. But at the end of the day, a lot of people ain't gonna speak because they either gonna get killed for it, and because if they speak, it's gonna stop their money. NASA making billions of dollars every year off of us. So why would people associated with NASA tell us the truth when that's how they make their money? It's called hush money. Everything about NASA is questionable. NASA and the CIA have leaked documents that talks about the firmament. The same firmament that God speaks about in the Bible. And I'm going to show y'all a few of them. Y'all can go look this up by yourself. It's on NASA's official government site and on the CIA's official government site, where they speak about the firmament. This is a NASA report document that talks about an aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA also has this document, and on the digital performance simulation description, it talks about a non-rotating Earth. Once again, a flat, non-rotating Earth. Once again, a flat, non-rotating Earth. Here's the CIA talking about the firmament. Here's them talking about the firmament again. And here's them talking about the firmament again. Y'all need to realize there's a reason why we can't go to the ice wall. It ain't nothing about no more land. They just want to tell y'all there's more land so everybody can stop with the theory of it being the end of the world. So they'll rather tell y'all a lie and say that there's more land over there than us thinking that that's where the world ends. But baby, they know the truth. They know the Antarctic Circle is the end of the firmament. And that's why you can't fly over it. You can't go nowhere near that place or you will be killed. They'll shoot you before you even make it over there. Because the truth has to stay hidden. And they'll do anything to keep it hidden. I just think it's so sad that they have brainwashed us so much in schools that the truth is called a conspiracy theory. But that's normal. Like, man, you can't make this up for real. You really can't make this up. Y'all better start doing y'all own research and let the truth set y'all free. Because they got y'all in a chokehold when it come to y'all round earthers. They got y'all in a chokehold. And this is exactly why God said in the Bible, let him be the truth and every man a liar. Because y'all claim to be Christians or having all this faith, but y'all believe man's word over his. And that's where y'all downfall is. Y'all faith ain't as strong as y'all say it is. Y'all better wake up and see things for what it is. Because only Yah, our Elohim, is the truth. God's word is the truth. And y'all need to let the truth set y'all free.
Did Prince really just say this?
When I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time. And so, oh, that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing and you didn't know why.
Now, come on, man. This is just from heavy air traffic, you know. There has to be some sort of airport nearby. These streaks in the sky are caused by the water vapor in the airplane's engine, and the low temperature causes ice crystals. It's not like they could just turn it off or... Okay, I don't know what that was about, but this is testing the weight limits of the planes, right, for passengers. And no, those aren't hoses hooking up to anything. Yeah, they're just testing the planes, guys. Now that's how they do their little writing in the sky, you know what I'm saying? It's just a crazy conspiracy.
Did you know the oldest ancient text in the world, called the Seven Tablets of Creation, mentions that humans were created by immortal aliens of highly advanced technology? They descended upon Earth 400,000 years ago. These cosmic visitors were from a celestial red planet known as Nibiru, and came to this planet to mine gold and resources. Our ancient ancestors called them Atlanteans or Anunnaki, and they painted the planet with their presence with ancient antiquity that can be found in every corner of the world today. Such beings, remarkable as they were, mirrored humanity in many ways, and we share their depths of human-like emotions, the ardor of love, jealousy, lust, and the shadowy abyss of hate. Their heads and bodies were much larger than human, but we look like them, and they look like us. They had technological weapons so advanced that it seemed to our ancient ancestors as magic.
Watch this video with me because this is absolutely crazy. Let's just start it.
All right, you may take the rest of the minute.
We're supposed to do one question at a time. Which one would you like? That was part of the format for the debate. So which
I want you to fill in the story of the rest of the beginning of the universe. God, spiritual matter, impact on material matter.
Okay, so 2 questions. All right.
Go ahead.
All right, your question, where did God come from, assumes that you're thinking of the wrong, obviously it displays that you're thinking of the wrong God, because the God of the Bible is not affected by time, space, or matter. If he's affected by time, space, or matter, he's not God. Time, space, and matter is what we call a continuum. All of them have to come into existence at the same instant, because if there were matter but no space, where would you put it? If there were matter and space but no time, when would you put it? You cannot have time, space, or matter independently. They have to come into existence simultaneously. The Bible answers that in 10 words. In the beginning, there's time. God created the heaven, there's space, and the earth. There's matter. So you have time, space, matter, created a trinity of trinities there. Just, time is past, present, future. Space has length, width, height. Matter has solid, liquid, gas. You have a trinity of trinities created instantaneously, and the God who created them has to be outside of them. If he's limited by time, he's not God. The guy who created this computer is not in the computer. He's not running around in there changing the numbers on the screen, okay? The God who created this universe is outside of the universe. He's above it, beyond it, in it, through it. He's unaffected by it. So the concept that a spiritual force cannot have any effect on a material body, well then I guess you'd have to explain to me things like emotions and love and hatred and envy and jealousy and rationality. I mean, if your brain is just a random collection of chemicals that formed by chance over billions of years, how on earth can you trust your own reasoning processes and the thoughts that you think? Okay, so
wow, that's the truth right there, though.
Your question, where did God come from, is assuming a limited God. And that's your problem. The God that I worship is not limited by time, space, or matter. If I could fit the infinite God in my 3-pound brain, he would not be worth worshiping, that's for certain. So that's the God that I worship. Thank you.
That's all right.
There's a chance the Book of Enoch is revealing the truth according to what we now know. The Book of Enoch was suppressed in the 4th century because it did not accurately reflect the ancient scriptures. What if this isn't the case? What if it was? Because it accurately depicted human nature. In the book, it is explained how a group of angels known as the Watchers started rebelling against God and started teaching people things they weren't supposed to know, such astrology and how to make nuclear weapons. They started lying to human women in addition to doing that which led to the creation of the Nephilim. Others claim that the book is untrue, yet given the descriptions of how the earth was formed. The positions of the sun and moon and even the current whereabouts of the watcher. Angels, perhaps.
Now, folks, look at this map. According to your social studies teacher, what is the equator?
Right
An
down
imaginary
there.
line where?
Yeah.
Around the center of the Earth. Then if this map is correct, then the equator must be here, and Chicago has a tropical climate. Now, folks, this is the map that we use in the schools. Look where the United States is, in the middle of the world, right? Now, here's the USSR, which is no more, of course, Mongolia, China, Africa, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Now, look over here. USSR, Mongolia, China, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Two Indias here. We have two Indias. Did you know that? Now, people, this is a flat-out lie. Look at the size of Greenland and the size of South America. According to your social studies teachers, what were continents? Largest land masses on the face of the Earth, right? Now, do you know the continents? Africa, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, Europe, North America, and South America. Did I say Greenland? Well, Greenland isn't a continent, but it's a huge landmass according to this map, right? The map is a flat-out lie, people. If you read the legend on the map, here it says, in fact, South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland. Now, look at this map. The equator on this map is down here. All the white countries are larger than they should be, and all the countries of people of color are smaller than they should be.
So a lot of people are wondering what the map looks like that I found in my encyclopedia. So let's find out. So I have 4 books in this collection of Funk and Wagnall's standard reference encyclopedias. This is the first one that I have gotten to look at. This was, I think, last touched in 1966. So let's get into the map. So, as you can see, this is, you know, the North Pole. And all around it is, you guessed it, Antarctica. This map has the North Pole as the mathematical center. From it, true distance to any part of the world can be measured. Such a projection shows to advantage the great circle routes used in navigation which pass near the Arctic Circle. Polar projection maps are indispensable to a global-minded nation. So this is the World Mercator projection and all of its times. So a couple of things on this map that didn't make sense to me was that Antarctica was not labeled on here at all, but we know that the bottom is Antarctica because this is the Antarctic Circle that goes all the way around. So look at Antarctic Circle all the way around, and beyond the Antarctic Circle is Antarctica. If we're doing the world, we should include Antarctica. Why did it stop right here before it at 9? And all of these are not equal distance. This is A, and this is also A. They just overlap. So I took this map and I cut it up and I marked down the lines of the Arctic Circle, the equator, and the Antarctic Circle. Let's put this together. So you can see that A and Z are practically the same, you know, they have the same time. So when you put this map together, it looks like the first map that I showed you. And we know that the North Pole is in the middle of the Arctic Circle, which goes around here. All of the times are right, and we are surrounded by the Antarctica. There's tons of different information in these books, so let me know if there's anything else that you might want me to go over.
FBI agents, what incident traumatized you for the rest of your life? I've been involved in a lot of disturbing FBI raids before, but when my boss offered me $1 million to explore a religious cult, There was no way I could turn down the offer. I never could have guessed it would be the last time I'd ever see my co-workers again. I knew this mission was different from the rest, since we were offered $1 million bonus which was given to us up front, before even going on the mission. There was no way I could turn this down. However, as soon as I set off with my team, we knew something was horribly wrong. The mission itself was presented as a simple one, but the circumstances surrounding it were more unusual. We're staging a raid on a fanatical religious cult in Montana. Real psychotic bunch, I remember the boss telling me. I couldn't have imagined a better compensation than the one he was offering, so I listened intently. In all honesty, it was nearly enough to set my entire team up for retirement. I knew what we were doing was illegal, but they didn't seem to care. Working as an FBI agent makes you untouchable to the average person. You're considered a high-ranking person, but there's people with a lot more power than us, the bosses of the FBI. They don't care if the mission is illegal, if it goes against all morals. If it completes the objective, then do whatever is needed. I never could have guessed how much worse this mission would actually be. I know it's not important for the job, but what's the purpose of this raid? These guys growing pot or something? I asked. The question came out snarkier than I'd intended it to. Our boss just grinned. I guess he had a sense of humor. Well, he began, I doubt you'll be telling anybody, so I suppose you might as well know. He seemed confident in that assumption. Maybe a little too much so. These people stumbled upon something that they shouldn't have, he continued, and then they tried to hide it. Better not be something that's moments away from exploding, I said. The boss laughed this time. It's not so simple. What do you know about the existence of extraterrestrial life? I raised my eyebrow. What the hell was he about to tell me? You're asking me if I believe in aliens, I responded. I took a second to consider it. Sure, why not? He went on to explain the real objective. It sounded absurd, but I could tell there was some deep truth in what he was saying. He lacked any emotion on his face. Apparently, a UFO had crashed on a farm in southeastern Montana a few days prior. As luck would have it, this farm belonged to the Church of Blissful Ascension, the cult in question. Shortly after it landed, some cult members stumbled upon it, subsequently being ordered to drag it into the leader's farmhouse, which was quite literally a mansion. The most interesting part about this was the UFO itself. It was allegedly about 12 feet wide, 3 feet in diameter, and shaped like a pill. Before it landed, it had been moving erratically, seemingly teleporting short distances every few seconds or so. After it landed, some kind of dark green fluid began leaking out of it. Now for the actual mission. We simply had to go in and assist a team of CIA and FBI agents in wiping out every single member. No survivors, no witnesses, no exceptions. What the FBI bosses planned to do with the UFO afterwards was none of our business. Not that I really wanted to know. When they told us no witnesses, I should have realized they meant literally. We didn't have much time to prepare for the raid, but it didn't sound like we needed it. We were dealing with amateurs, most likely just trigger-happy rednecks who couldn't strategize or aim for shit. I suppose raid wasn't the most apt way to describe the job. It seemed more like a slaughter than anything else. My team of 6 met up with the military team at a small underground complex used by the FBI for clandestine operations located about 30 minutes away from the farm. There, we geared up, went over tactics, and were told to repeat the objective at hand. No witnesses, no survivors. After all that was said and done, we piled into a SWAT truck and drove off. We suited up in black tactical gear provided by our bosses themselves. This part was a bit odd to me. We had our own gear, stuff we'd been using for the longest time. Both sets were nearly identical, but the agent still insisted that we use theirs. The atmosphere in the truck was also disconcerting. Maybe it was just in my head, but everybody seemed so stiff. The agents clutched their rifles with iron grips while staring blankly ahead. My team tried talking amongst ourselves, but every word just felt awkward. I just chalked it up to nerves, which didn't make any sense because I'd never felt nerves like that before. I think they knew something I didn't. After what felt like hours, we finally arrived, stopping some odd yards away from the farmhouse in order to remain undetected. We piled out, got into formation, and began. I was assigned the furthest flank position, so I stayed back as everybody else moved ahead. The closest people in front of me were one of my guys and an agent. It didn't take long for the strangeness to amplify. I noticed that the agent was gradually moving slower and slower. Eventually I caught up to him. Well, it was more like I was forced to catch up. If I'd been moving any slower, I would have stopped.
145 top secret facilities that you know about.
Well, you know, everyone talks about Area 51. That's an old one. A more state-of-the-art one is actually in the Dugway Proving Grounds, which is in Utah.
I'm going to put a picture up of it right now.
That's a big one in Dugway. It's underground, goes out. It's about 1,300 square miles.
What's in there?
All this stuff. Technologies, the craft, operations. So what happened is that when he got to the site, there was about a 6x6 pod, and they pulled it up on the ship. And it wasn't the whole craft. The whole craft had gone down, but apparently there was some sort of one molded thing, and there were 4, I'm going to use his language, little men that looked like the color of a Sicilian, but 39 inches tall, no hair, and also no external ears, no pinna, flaps, very fine featured. But the reason he contacted me, and this is why this is so funny, you know, I've debriefed over 1,000 men like this. He said, I can't figure out how they got in and out of their uniforms. So they had a one-piece uniform. Now, no zipper, and no buttons and no visible way they could get them out of this thing. And he says, how do they put them on?
They also found a live alien. That live alien was named Eva, and he was transported to, it was a male, was transported to Los Alamos, where he lived out his life. He died in 1952. But during that time period that he was with us, he told us a plethora of information about what they have learned about the universe and what their technology is. Their technology is probably estimated to be about 50,000 years ahead of us.